This is a quick video of how to cure water coming into a Ford Focus into the rear boots. You'll notice early indications will be your windows will mist up when it's either rained or you've washed the car. You'll have moisture on the inside the window. It will feel damp in the car. So I'm going to give you a quick video of how to cure it. If you're going to do a job, do it properly, do it over what it's needed. Then when you put all the bits back together, you'll know that it's actually cured it. If you take the boot liner out, take all the stuff out of the boot, you'll notice water in the bottom of the spare wheel footwell. The clip here will actually show you the carpet on the both left and the right will be damp. Water's actually flowing into the boot well, filling up. Now notice the 3 plugs on the bottom of the boot well. Do not take them out, they're sealed from the factory. The reason why they're there, that's the manufacturing process, how they've actually made the boot's bottom. They've got nothing to do with water. Water will not come up through there, because if you take one out, which I've done, there's a cavity and it's bone dry. So they've got nothing to do with the water leak. Don't take them out. You'll notice on the, you've got to take all the carpet out and the sound insulation material. There's a quick picture to show you how you do it. There's a number of bolts in there, very easy to do, and you've just got to pull the carpet out. You need that out and the insulation material, because you need to dry it, because that will be damp. In the bottom there's a little bung plug which I've indicated. Make sure that's sealed. Underneath it is you can see the road underneath. There's nothing underneath that. Water's not coming up through there, so don't worry about that. That arrow there is where the foam installation material is in the cavity. Now that will fill up with water, and that is where the water is actually coming into the car. That picture there shows water in the cavity. You need to either get a suction hose and suck the water out both sides. Picture there shows the sound insulation material. Now notice the cavity has got those 2 air vents in. Now that cavity runs at a 45-degree angle. Water fills up and it can't get out, because obviously Ford sealed the cavity. The one on the rear is where the water is actually coming through the into the car. You get a vortex of air behind the car when you're driving it, and it's pulling up bits of water. And you'll notice in that cavity there'll be bits of asphalt, road material, because it's been pulled in. Picture there shows all 4 air vents channels, which you've got to take off. Those are the 4 air vents. Notice the top right hand one, the actual very thin rubber which Ford have done is actually deformed already, and that is not sealing. It's a good idea while you've got the bumper off, that bumper crash mounting plate on the back of the car, which is black. Put some Hammerite paint over the top of it, or wax oil. You'll notice there's probably bits of rust on the metal, so while you've got it off, just paint it black and treat it so it won't rust anymore. The arrow there indicates underneath the car there's a electrical harness clip. When you take the bumper off, you'll notice you have to disconnect it, because it's tied in with the park sensors. So when you lift the bumper off, there's a big plug you have to unplug, and the bumper will pull away. To remove the rear bumper, there's two of these screws each side. One is on the very bottom of the wheel arch, and that one is halfway up. You have to just pull the wheel arch away to undo it. So there's 2 on each side. Air vents are fairly dirty. That's rubber around the outside, which is hard rubber. You need to clean it up, because obviously when we're going to repair it, we want a good bond. That picture there shows how thin the rubber is. It's supposed to close. The solution to this problem is to go and get some fairly thin but not too thick pond liner. Cut it out to the same shape as all 4 air vents. Obviously make sure it's not too small. It's got to be the correct size. Slightly bigger is better. You've got to drill some holes in. You'll notice when you drill, you want 3 holes at the top. One of the holes might be near to one of the clip plugs. Just get a scalpel and just take out the bottom. Picture shows how to cut out one of the rubber bits you're going to put over the air vents. Notice the pond liner is fairly thin, it's not too thick, and it's good quality pond liner. Picture shows in the foreground one of the large air vents which I've fixed. Notice the 4 rivets at the top. The bottom you must not rivet because you want that flap to open as what the Fords do. So when it hangs there, it will just flap open and close when it needs to with air. These are 2 which have just been cleaned. I use some white spirit with a cloth, get all the dirt off, get all the grime off, because when we seal it, we want a good contact patch. This is the actual width of the small air vents which I did. They want to be 110 millimeters wide. There's a reason for that which you'll see in a minute. The length of these small ones I did 140 because what we do, we've got to rivet them at the top, and they've got to hang slightly lower than the bottom so no water will actually go up into them. Notice there's 3 rivets on that one at the top, 2 at the sides. Obviously we've got 140 millimeters in length, obviously, so the top will clip in with a rivet. You fold it, bend it, you can do that with your hands. Just drill 2 holes in the side, put small rivets, don't use big rivets, and notice 140, it's slightly longer than what's needed, don't have it too short. Putting the car back together, that's sound insulation material. They're both on the driver's side and the passenger side. You should have taken that out, you should have dried it. To put it back in, I've used some carpet glue, sprayed it onto the frame of the car, let it tack for about a minute, push it up, stick it on. Notice it's about an inch up from the bottom. When you take out the original soundproofing, you'll notice it's at the very bottom, and when that cavity fills up with water, water will actually go up the foam into the car. Holes I've drilled from the bottom, if this cavity, which did fill up, if it does fill up with water now on, it's going to drain out because the cavity's at an angle. So you drill up from the bottom up in, just drill some little holes. That's that arrow there showing the big lug. When you put the lugs in, make sure you push them up from the bottom. All 4 air vents we're going to have to seal. What I recommend you use is Tiger Seal. Holford sell it, so a good place to go and buy it. When you put it on, make sure you put enough around the inside. Wear some gloves, don't get it on your hands. Fitted to the car, when you push it in, it will clip it with 4 lugs. It clips into place. Notice the black Tiger Seal has made a perfect seal around. Notice that's in position, the flap will function as normal, it just hangs there with gravity. Picture showing 2 small ones being done. One at the top hasn't been done, obviously the one at the bottom has got mastic on. Make sure you put enough on there, more the better, you don't want to be taking these off again. Both in situ, you've got the large one, you've got the small one. Can you notice the air can still come out and go in? It's just the flap, but at least no water will actually go back in there. While you've got the rear lights out, make sure the paintwork is clean. It's worth putting some white silicone mastic around the lugs where the light fits into. On the original Ford lights, they've got some thin foam. Obviously foam absorbs water. By putting silicone around, at least you know water's not going to go into the holes. The other picture shows I've put a mastic bead, so if the water runs down the frame of the car, it will hit the bead and run sideways and not go near those holes. It's just worth doing while you've got the lights off. The lights will be easy to take in and out, obviously. They're just held in with some 2 black screw caps, which you have to do up really tight. But that's another precaution to make sure water's not getting into the cavity of the car.